My name is Sean Arnold, and this is my gameplay video for my Zoodiac Kaiju Yosenju build. Yosenjus are one of my favorite archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh, and they have been for many years now. But I love experimenting with this deck and mixing it with other builds. And what I noticed when I came back to you recently is that there are a lot of people building 60 card decks, which for the longest time was kind of a taboo. You never ever built 60 card decks, but thanks to cards like The Grass is Greener, it's a little bit more viable. And I decided to give it a try myself, not using the cards like The Grass is Greener, but using searches and drawing power like Pot of Desires, and it actually works out really well. So I've got a couple of games here to show you how it works. Also with this video, in the right hand side of the screen, you can see the deck list for this. If you have any suggestions on how to rate or fix this deck, feel free to make comments on what I've got into the deck. In the gameplay here, you might see some variations from the deck, but this is my final deck list, which is going up and scrolling up on the screen right now. Yosenju's being one of my favourite decks of all time. They're very versatile. They're very good at being anti-meta, and they work well with many other engines such as Artifacts, Kaijus, Zoodiacs, and Demise builds. I'm sure I'm missing others here, probably Wind Witches as well. But what's really fun about this current build here is that Yosenju's have a few weaknesses, and one of their weaknesses is that they don't make a really good first turn play. They really prefer to go second, or if they do first, they want to flood the field with lots of floodgates, and they want to kind of pray that you're. Thankfully with this build, we kind of cover that weaknesses by using Zoodiacs. Now I know a lot of people hate using Zoodiacs or seeing Zoodiacs thrown into any other kind of rank 4 build, but for Yosenjus, I feel like they are a match made in heaven. Yosenjus and Zoodiacs just go so well together, in the sense that Zoodiacs help Yosenjus set up their plays. You've got cards such as, is it Broad Bull? I think it's Broad Bull. I might be mistaken on which Zoodiac it is, but that searches out Yosenjus from your deck to your hand. And you've also got cards like Dryden, which allow you to clear out threats on the board. And when your opponent sees you playing your Zoodiacs, they are going to try and commit the resources to get your Zoodiacs and stopping your engine as much as possible. Which means your Yosenjus are then free to run wild and kind of go out freely. One of the biggest weaknesses of Yosenjus is cards like Solemn Strike, anything that stops them from doing normal summons repeatedly per turn. But normally, you're going to find your opponent's going to try and commit those to your Zoodiac, so your Yosenjus kind of benefit from that in that sense. Similarly speaking, we've also got the Kaijus. Kaijus being the best monster removal engine in the format right now, and this gives you a lot of outs to a lot of big monster threats such as Drew Dracos, as we saw in the last game there. Drew Dracos being an archetype which can create monsters that are immune to monster effects, spell effects, and trap effects, but Kaijus deal with that because they just tribute monsters off. In this current build here, we are playing against Zombie Synchros. Zombie Synchros are also a very good build here, but this is how Yosenjus work so well. Once the Kaijus, once the Zoodiacs kind of done their job there, you can kind of just set up your field and kind of OTK as much as you can. One of the things which I really like with this build is being able to use Kaijus to tribute your opponent's monsters and then bouncing them back with Yosenju cover 1 to your side of the field. And it helps you to control the board quite well. Don't ask me why I summoned Lightning Chidori in this moment. I was actually supposed to summon Abyss Dweller. I clicked the wrong card. But regardless, it didn't make much of a difference here. We're going to play against another Zombie Synchro deck here, and we get to go to the first turn again. What I really like about this deck as well is that the current main deck is quite good on the first or the second turn. If I go first, I have Zoodiacs, and Zoodiacs will help me set up my board and do shenanigans like this. If I go second, I have Kaijus. Kaijus can get rid of and break threats and break boards, and Yosenjus break boards too. Actually, cover 1 is very good at just bouncing back cards off the field. If they're extra deck monsters, that's really good. But also continuous cards like Imperial Order is really good when countered by Yosenju cover 1. So I really like this engine. Looking at my spell list here, there is a lot of draw power, a lot of searching in this deck. In fact, I think even more than half of this deck is dedicated to searching. We've got Pot of Desires, which gives you 2 cards. You've got Tenki, which searches out Beast Warriors. You've got Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which searches out your Kaijus. You've got Pot of Duality, which I thought would be a weird choice to do because you do have a lot of special summoning in this deck, but you do also run your Yosenju, so Yosenju's not really care about Pot of Duality, so you kind of aren't like left without an option while still being able to run it. Trap cards are also very important in this deck there for those who kind of like Demise Yosenjus. We still run a lot of anti-special summoning and effect negation trap cards. It is definitely necessary to do so in this current meta. If you can set up your pool with quite a lot of cards like Dimensional Barrier and shut down their plays, or Lost Wind. Lost Wind is a really good card for sort of that effect negation. Whatever you can really do to kind of control your opponent's board is really well, is quite necessary in this current format if you're not going to OTK your opponent in the first or second turn. Yeah, your Yosenjus do quite well at that though, depending on what you draw. This deck was a bit of a tough duel for me to go against, because Omega is very disruptive, and the first turn Omega can be really painful sometimes, but there are cards which hurt this deck a lot more, but we'll get into those in the next duel or so. But right now, we managed to get rid of Omega. Omega is now doing shenanigans from the grave. My opponent returned their Raigeki, hoping to recycle that and use it again, and now they're going to flood the field and bring out another Omega. This Omega loop is so annoying to deal with. It is really strong, but there are ways to kind of get around it. So we are going to pop his Omega and destroy it once he tries to activate its effect there. And now we're going to summon one of your Yosenjus and attack directly. This build you're seeing here, you'll see a few other Zoodiacs that aren't in the deck list. I did try running more Zoodiacs than just the ones in my main deck list and seeing if it worked out more. But I kind of felt like by running more Zoodiacs, I was kind of taking away from the deck a bit too much that I didn't like. I was focusing on more Zoodiacs than the Yosenjus itself. And I kept on getting into situations where I kept asking myself, do I want to search out a Zoodiac or Yosenju? And most of the time, that will be Zoodiacs, leaving the Yosenjus with very little to do. Becoming one of those kind of builds where it would have been better to take out the Yosenjus and just focus on pure Zoodiac, but that's not what this deck was about. This deck is about Yosenjus, like we're about to OTK my opponent with here, and that went off really well. So now we're playing against pure Zoodiacs. We're going to go into some of the more tougher duels I face against and some of the issues I have. This card here is a big problem. I think it's called Ghost Ash and something. I can't remember the rest of the name. That card is really strong against this deck here. It negates any effect that tries to draw cards or search cards from your deck, which being in this deck is quite a lot. Is very destructive. It's currently OCG only, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro you're allowed to use OCG cards online for some reason. But so I'm not going to side against it or worry about it too much just yet, but I know in the next couple of sets when that card Ghost Ash comes out, it's going to be played a lot. It's very good and very tough to deal with. I don't really think this deck can deal with a card like that so much. I think we kind of just have to wish that we kind of get lucky. I know I will be playing that card for sure when I can get my hands on it. Although I only play TCG, I don't play OCG, so I kind of ignoring it for now. But it is a really good card. Other hand traps can be disruptive too. Ghost Reaper, but not Ghost Reaper. What's the other one from Ghost Reaper? We got Ghost Ash, Ghost Reaper, and I forgot the other one. Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is very good as well. We run Ghost Ogre in this deck, but it can also be very disruptive against Zoodiacs and Yosenju, so you got to be careful with that. And like I said earlier, if I did say earlier, cards like Solemn Strike can be really bad against this deck. What I kind of hope for is that my opponent kind of commits their strikes to my Zoodiacs, and that way my Yosenjus don't have a problem to deal with. This was another tough duel to deal with. This is Wind Witch invoked artifacts. You're not going to see any of the invoked monsters or the artifacts to be honest, but the Wind Witches are really strong. They are very annoying to deal with. They just plus like crazy, and that's one of the weaknesses of Yosenjus, is that they just don't have the resources to kind of plus so much. They kind of have to kind of shut down opponent threats as opposed to outpacing them with advantage. I guess we are going to see the artifacts there, my mistake. So we're going to try and search out a Zoodiac, and my opponent's going to shut this down using Artifact Scythe. Artifacts are an engine which you can run with your Yosenjus. I'm not doing it currently. I'm not sure whether I will or not, but your Yosenjus and Artifacts work really well together. Well, I don't say they work well together, they just don't interfere with each other. That's the trouble I'm seeing with a lot of builds I find, is there's a difference between synergy and just not interfering with each other. Yosenju engines are often built around cards that don't disrupt each other, but Zoodiac is actually synergetic with the deck, and that's why it released to so much advantage here. But I lost this duel here. There wasn't a great duel there, and we ended up with the game. So that is my Zoodiac Kaiju Yosenju build. Feel free to comment down below, guys. And if you have any suggestions or we want to rate or fix a deck, please do. Please stay tuned to the channel and subscribe, because I will be doing a deck breakdown. And if you have any suggestions on what you want to see in the future, do let me know, and I'm looking for inspiration and ideas to build new decks with. Thank you for watching and take care. Bye bye.